So today we are going to be exploring the relationship between stress and motivation within the workplace. Stress is considered a normal part of everyday life, especially in the workplace. The main types of stress we face in the workplace are challenge and hindrance stressors. In reality, a little bit of stress is beneficial and is actually quite healthy. It can help us accomplish tasks or handle new responsibilities in our professional lives and also motivate us to perform our day to day tasks in our personal lives. Stress works by triggering our fight or flight instinct, which can increase focus and keep us safe in physically endangering situations. However, too much of anything is usually unhealthy, as we all know, and stress is no exception. According to a report from the American Institute of Stress, 80% of workers feel stress on the job, and nearly half of them say they need help dealing with it. As a manager in the workplace, it is crucial to know how to properly motivate your team to reach maximum efficiency. Managers commonly use Managers commonly use extrinsic motivators to boost their employees' performance in the form of cash bonuses or maybe something like a day off. Many people assume this would be the most effective form of motivation. However, when employees are also dealing with stress, it alters the way we are affected and respond to these motivators, especially when performing adaptive tasks.
According to our research, intrinsic motivation is the most effective type of motivation when dealing with challenge and hindrance stressors, especially when compared to extrinsic motivation. This is due to the positive relationship that intrinsic motivation has on adaptive cognitive tasks.
Extrinsic motivation is the desire to put forth work due to some contingency that depends on task performance. Intrinsic motivation is the desire to put forth work due to the sense that task performance serves as its own reward. Hindrance stressors are stressors that tend to be appraised as thwarting progress towards growth and achievement, such as role conflict, role ambiguity, role overload, daily hassles. An example of role conflict is when you have two superiors in your workplace that both come to you asking you to do a task, when both these tasks can't be completed at the same time. Challenge stressors are stressors that tend to be appraised as opportunities for growth and achievement, such as time pressure, work complexity, and work responsibility. An example of time pressure in the workplace would be when you have multiple deadlines to reach in the same week and you don't feel as though there is enough time in the day to complete what needs to be done.
So, a viral TED Talk by Daniel Pink helps give us context and shed some light on our topic as well as its relevancy to the business world. So, Dan talks about a famous experiment done by someone named Daniel O'Reilly, where he gathers a group of students from MIT and gives them a task, and along with that task, he'll assign a reward system. And the reward system is if you finish first, you get the biggest reward, second, the second biggest, and so on. So he found that when you're doing a task that only involves mechanical skills, really basic and routine skills, the reward system works the best. But as soon as you give these students anything that involves any adaptive task or anything, creative thinking, then the reward system doesn't work at all. What the study found was that different types of intrinsic motivation, along with challenge stressors, lead to better performance in a scenario that is stressful or a scenario that requires creative thinking. So the task where incentives were being offered and it was a creative task caused the people doing the task to become narrow-minded thinkers. So they would focus solely on the task, or on the reward, and not figuring out how to do the task and trying to think outside the box. The participants would only receive the incentives if they finished on top of the group, so that's also a reason as to why they were very narrow-minded thinkers. This specific example is also very helpful in today's society, because a lot of jobs are being specialized and being made routine, which is not good because as soon as someone is put into a scenario where they need to think creatively or be adaptive, then they're not going to be able to handle and deal with that stress as well as they would be if they were intrinsically motivated and the job that they were previously doing wasn't dumbed down per se.
According to an article published in 1999 by Lulu, a PhD at NTU, it was stated that, using random sampling procedures, we home interviewed 300 working adults living in Kaohsiung City, Taiwan. Intrinsic work motivation was positively related with overall job satisfaction, whereas extrinsic motivation was positively related to depression. When workers are offered incentives, it causes them more stress because they feel more pressure to do well so they can achieve whatever they're working for. This causes people to be stressed out of the workplace, and it can cause both mental and physical health problems. Stress has become a very serious health issue, not only affecting people both mentally and physically, but also causing financial damages at the work. In 1987, Madison and Ivancic estimated that stress causes half of absenteeism in the workplace. This means people are making excuses like calling in sick because they feel they don't want to go to work, and they're making the excuse that they're ill to avoid responsibilities that they have to do during work. This results in a backlash, causing the company to slow down production or sales depending on whatever the company specializes in.
After careful examination, you can see the relationship between motivation and stress, specifically challenge and hindrance stressors. This is an extremely relevant topic in today's society. By people and businesses becoming more educated in this, they can maximize the performance and efficiency they get out of their employees, as well as give them the tools they need